The first foundation is an emergency fund. I have bullet points from the slide, and the description of this foundation is essentially a buffer between unforeseen expenses and debt. So any unforeseen expenses like emergencies or anything like that, an emergency fund will help provide for those for any rainy days or occasions where you need money and you won't have to go into debt for it. This helps, or this relates to financial success because it helps you stay out of debt, which is essentially a major role in becoming financially successful.
So for the second foundation, we have get out of debt. Debt is owing money to anyone. The greatest way to get out of debt is making a budget. For one of the best examples that I find getting out of debt for making a budget would be 50% expenses, 30% savings, and 20% lifestyle. You also want to change your spending habits. The greatest advice I could give you is to get out of negative so that you can help grow towards positive. And always, if you ever find yourself in trouble, get help if necessary.
Okay. So for number three of the five foundations, it is to pay your car with cash, which I believe is super smart if you think about it, especially if you, which I prefer, buy used car, because the depreciation rate is so crazy high, and now new cars are just super expensive right now for an insane amount. So I would personally pay with cash to help you get rid of any debt and to buy a used car that's 2 to 5 years, because by that time you could have as low as 50% off the market value of the car while still having all the necessary things that car would have. Especially if it's like the same generation, nothing's really gonna change. So I think if paying cash for car makes total sense, especially I think you should get a used car.
Fourth foundation is paying cash for college. I have the bullet points from the slide, and the purpose of paying cash for college is essentially the purpose for most of the foundations, and it's to stay out of debt. Paying cash for college eliminates one of the biggest problems and difficulties of the education system, and that's student loans, which is crushing debt. And this relates to financial success because staying out of debt is directly relates to financial success. And student loans, as it says, on average, a student will have $39,351 in debt each. So it's a major factor in setting up your life financially.
Um, Lastly is to build wealth and give for foundation number five. I think this is actually amazing. Like, as in give, it would be like being able to provide for your kids in the future and your kids, and just like having generational wealth because you're not going to be here one day. So being able to support your family without you actually being there, I think is super important, especially when if you're already financially free, following these other four steps, then your wealth would be pretty high because you'd be away from debt and everything. So being able to give back, say like the college or the school that helped you, and also being able to build up generational wealth for when you're gone is super important.